The Bank of Canada just increased the interest rates by 100 basis points. That's the highest interest rate hike since 1998. There's going to be a lot of change in the real estate market. Talk a lot about the new trends that are about to happen, that we're seeing happen. I'm your host, Philip Hyduke from DukeRealtyHomes.com, and let's go. Here are my 5 biggest trends that are about to happen because of the interest rate hikes and where the real estate market is heading. Number 1, it's now become a buyer's market. There's actually a lot more homes to choose, and there's a lot less buyers. There's a lot less demand on the market. Prices are down 20%. Most homes are seeing very few offers, especially outside the Toronto area, outside the GTA, outside of the city of Toronto. There are very few offers, and they're sitting around for a long time. So now buyers have the option to look at various homes. They're not competing against 20 other offers. It's very unlikely that you're going to be competing. And if you are, it's only going to be probably one other offer. One thing to keep in mind as a buyer is a lot of my buyers ask me, can we get this house for $100,000 under asking because it's become a buyer's market? The answer is you don't really know. So what to keep in mind in this market is that there's generally 2 types of sellers currently right now, because it's very confusing. Number 1, there are sellers out there that expect a certain price for their house, and if they don't get it, they will not sell. That's why you're seeing a lot of cancellations of houses on the real estate market, because they don't get the price that they want anymore, and then they just cancel. So if you're putting an offer on that type of home, you just have to call them and say, are these sellers motivated? If the answer is no, they want their price, then chances are they either want whatever they listed for or somewhere close to that, or they're not willing to sell. The second type of seller is the one that wants to sell or needs to sell because they either bought something, going through divorce, whatever it is. Those are the ones that are going to be a lot more negotiable. Now, perhaps you're not going to get $100,000 under asking because the market's already down 20%, but maybe you could get $40,000, $50,000 off the house just so the sellers can finally feel that they can sell the house, which is very hard in today's market. That leads us to number 2. If you want to move or you have to move and you have a house to sell, you have to sell that house first. The average days on market are up from 10 in the seller's market to about 30 right now, which means it's taking at least a month to sell a house on average. And that makes it much more difficult to try to maneuver in terms of selling and buying. So the absolute recommendation is you sell first instead of buying first, because the last thing you want to do is to buy a home and then prep your house, put it on the market, and then either you priced it too much or it doesn't look great in the pictures. And literally it could be many things that will cause people to be like, you know what, I don't want to look at this house. And we literally see some houses have no appointments for a week sometimes, or very few appointments. And it's very stressful for the sellers. So the selling part has now become much more difficult. So you want to get that out of the way first, because you don't want to buy a house and then all of a sudden you're super stressed out because you have a closing date coming up and you can't sell your house. You will have to experiment with various prices, but the houses that will sell first in today's market are the ones that are priced well, so they look like a good deal, and 2, they have nothing to do. They're move-in ready, turnkey, absolutely renovated places that people can just put their money down in their mortgage and not have to spend any more money outside of pocket. Number 3, monthly expenses are actually higher. And this we're only talking about a mortgage only. So we're not talking about all the other things that inflation has targeted. However, let's look at this graph. Although buyers are getting roughly 20% better deals on houses today, they've dropped 20%, the monthly interest rates, the monthly mortgage payments they have are actually higher, even if they save $150,000 on the house. Let's have a look. All right, here we are on the Bank Canada mortgage calculator website, and we're going to do a little experiment. So let's say you bought something in January of 2022 at the interest rate at 2.69, and you're borrowing $600,000 in mortgage. So what is that monthly amount? What is the monthly mortgage payment? So here we see that it's $2,744.90. All right. Now, if you calculate that the average buyer is getting 20%, it's the average house is selling for 20% less, then let's say the same buyer today would be just borrowing $450,000, but the 5-year fixed rate is 5.99. Now, of course, there's lots of mortgage rates out there, but let's just do a quick basic math study. So $450,000, $150,000 less than $600,000, but at 5.99 is $2,876.46 per month. So it's about $150 more, even though you bought something for $150,000 less, which means that on average, buyers will have more expenses than they did back then when the interest rates were 2.6. Number 4 is there will be more variable interest rates chosen over fixed rates. The reason for that is that you get a little bit better of a deal on variable. But the biggest part about all this is that most people will not qualify for the 5-year fixed rate. Maybe you could look into a 1 or 2 or 3 year fixed rate. But the issue is that if the 5-year fixed rate, let's say, according to Scotiabank, is 5.99, you still have to pass a stress test when you qualify for a mortgage, which adds 2 full percent. So that means whatever you're applying for a mortgage, you actually have to qualify at 7.99%. And that's how much mortgage you will ultimately be allowed to carry, to borrow, which for most of us is going to be such a small amount that it's not going to equal to an ability to buy the house that we want, or to stay in a relatively close area to where we have to work or where we want to live. So that most people will end up choosing variable because they will qualify for more if they go through variable, and they'll be slightly cheaper. Number 5 is that the market will continue to be a buyer's market for about 6 months to a year. Now, this is kind of my own personal prediction, and this is what a lot of us are talking about in the office. A lot of people that have years of experience that have seen the market in 2017, very similar to what happened last year, all the way down to 2018, where things were just slow for a full year, and then 2019 things rebounded. So I think probably it's going to be very similar. However, one of the key points you have to remember is that the Bank of Canada is increasing interest rates to combat inflation. Inflation in Canada is almost 8% this year. In various parts of the world, it's actually much more than 8%. So thank goodness it's only 8%. But with interest rates right now at roughly 6%, they are planning to do another interest rate hike in September. That is the rumor. So they are not done. And if they increase the interest rates again in September, that means prices will continue to drop. The average buyer will get even less spending power. Some buyers will be completely priced out because of the interest rates. However, it'll become even more of a slog in the real estate market. Things will become even slower to sell. You have to really try hard to make sure that your house is the best presentable house possible at a very attractive price, or at a price that people will actually want to come and see it, that still have the ability to buy that house for that price. The reason why I mentioned 6 months to a year is that most trends last between 15 to 17 months. And this is statistics from the Toronto Real Estate Board. So I'm going to use this statistic to make a prediction that since the market has slowed down in April and now continues to be really, really slow, we probably will not come out of this until it starts rebounding until at least the beginning of 2023, but most likely probably from the summer of 2023. Now, the reason why I don't think the market is going to drop significantly, though, is because Canada as a whole is planning a ton of immigration. So they have a 3 million person wait list to immigrate into Canada, and they are even considering increasing immigration from last year, which was 400,000, the absolute highest in any year. But they might even go up to 500,000 immigrants per year. And if they increase the immigration to 500,000, or even they keep it steady at 400,000, there's going to be a ton of people. On average, about 40% of those people go to the GTA. Some of them go to Vancouver and various cities, but on average, 40% go to the GTA, which means that there will be hungry people looking to buy homes, and the market will eventually rebound no matter what. It cannot stay down forever. That is my prediction. I hope you guys use these 5 big trends that are coming up. If you have any questions, leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll talk more later.